Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Digital Media Sync. It is Tuesday, January 5th. I had to look down at the corner to see what day it actually was because, yeah, I know it's January 5th now and that it's 2021. So welcome, everybody, to the first Digital Media Sync of 2021. I was thinking a lot about productivity in the past couple of weeks. So I wanted to kind of bring that topic up, and I wanted to see what apps people were using for their productivity. And I was getting really philosophical about it as well. Somebody already has a comment. Like, what does it mean to be productive? Oh, yay, Rebecca says good morning and Happy New Year. And I don't even know if I said Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So yeah, I'm glad that you're on. Thank you. So first I'm going to just do the admin part of this, and then I'm going to start talking about productivity. So I am Julia Googe of Agents of Branding and, of course, Digital Media Sync. I'm here at Known Co-working. Known Co-working is a co-working space at 139 Church Street, sorry, 139 Orange Street. I always want to say that. So we're at 139 Orange Street, right in downtown New Haven. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sunny day here. There are dedicated desks. Oh, look, there's see, it is sunshine. I'm sunshine too. You're sunshine, Randy. So we have 3 online programs, and the first one is Pivot Talk, and there's actually going to be a really exciting Pivot Talk tomorrow. We're going to be talking to Neville Wisdom of Neville Wisdom Fashions. We're going to be talking about his designs, his retail location, how he had to pivot during the pandemic. So that is tomorrow, Wednesday, January 6th at noon. We also have Connection Corner, and Connection Corner is hosted by Barb Nangle. Another great program where we connect with business people, with activists, with artists, with musicians, and just really dig deep into, what's going on in their world. And then there's Beep. So Digital Media Sync, and we bring you into the online, what's going on in the online world. So like I was saying, I was thinking about productivity, and I was thinking about it in 2 ways, right? I could just reel off a bunch of different apps and talk about it that way, which I'm going to do. But I also found a really interesting article that I'm going to put up in the banner section, I believe. Give me 2 seconds to do that. And it talked about, it was Productive Mag, which I kind of just found in a search because I was like, what do people think about when they think about productivity and how to actually find applications? And I'm going to put that in there. Oh, can I just tell you, I have a new setup right now. So I have a new computer, a new screen, a camera, a microphone. I haven't turned on the microphone just yet. I still have to read the directions. That is something that is definitely very helpful for productivity, is actually reading directions. Otherwise, you just spend a lot of time guessing what you're supposed to be doing. Camera, screen, light. So I'm ready to go. All right, so I just put up in the comment section, in the banner section. I'm going to put it in the comment section as well so you can pick up the link. This is things to think about when you're thinking about being productive. And I thought that this was right on, because first and foremost, you really have to get yourself in the mindset, right? So Randy, you and I have talked about, and you specifically have talked about, the marketing mindset. So I'm going to talk about right now the productivity mindset, and what does that mean? So what the first step that this particular article is talking about is delete any apps you haven't used in the past 2 weeks. I know that that is something that's really an issue for me because of, you know, the where we're at, you know, the career that we're in, the business that we're in. We take a look at a lot of different apps. Thank you. And we keep them on our computer, we keep them on our laptop, we keep them on our mobile device, and we're just racking up these apps, and we don't know what what they're there for. The other thing too is a lot of these apps, there's a freemium and then there's a premium. So we get to a point where it's like, oh, we need the premium version of this app. And then what happens if we don't need the app, right? Now we're paying for an app that we don't need and it's taking up space. So I think the first thing, if we haven't, I wish we had done this in 2020, but there's still time. Is to take a look at what apps you have on your laptop, on your mobile device, what's synced, what's taking up a lot of space, and just delete any apps that you haven't used. So I think that that's something that I definitely want to do myself, and I think I don't do often enough, just because, I get busy and I try out an app and then I just kind of leave it on there. The other thing, so step 2 is map your inboxes and workflow. And email is definitely inboxes, and calendars are, I think, 2 really big things that we get really caught up in, right? So we're always so good at saying, I went through 100 and something emails in my inbox. And I think first and foremost, if we haven't already done it, whatever system that you use, whether it's Gmail or Outlook or that sort of thing, there are definitely ways to take your emails and put them into folders, right? So Gmail already has a system where it starts, the algorithm starts looking at like what seems important, like what kind of emails you open, what businesses you open from, and that sort of thing, and starts putting that into a folder. And then there's like all your regular mail, and that's where things just really get crazy, is all your regular mail. So mapping your inboxes and your workflow, email, social media, paper mail, things that are just keep coming in, figure out all the different inboxes you have and how you process them. And then you can, what this article is saying is map it out utilizing a flow chart. So it's saying that at first the flow chart will be a mess, but that's the point, because you're seeing where like all your little messes is. So I know what I do in the beginning of my inbox workflow cleanup. I'm very good, and I start putting things in folders, because there's like, okay, this is each of my client folders, and then my vendor folders, and then bills and that sort of thing. And then it just starts getting messy because they don't automatically go into all those little folders, and it takes a little bit of time to do that work. But to be able to do that, like maybe even at the end of the month, just clean things out, and then also knowing to like clean stuff out of your inbox completely. A lot of times when we put things in the trash in our email inbox, it doesn't go all the way away. So just making sure that everything gets cleaned out there. And then our calendar system as well, right? Understanding, I know for me, I basically have 4 calendar systems. I really do. I have my personal calendar. I have my Agents of Branding calendar. I have, I'm on the board of the literacy volunteers, so I have a separate calendar for that, for all of my board meetings and things that I'm supposed to do for that particular organization. I have a calendar for that. I have a calendar for Known, so I have my production calendar as well. So again, putting those calendars into a system. So I have a color-coded system for my calendar, and I use Google Calendar to do that. So whatever calendar you use, just understanding that you can code your calendar so you can really be productive. And I know a lot of people, as far as client calendars, utilizing their time with clients or making appointments with, clients or prospective customers, or vendors or anybody like that. They'll use something like a Calendly as well, so that goes into automation, which we'll talk about later. So those are the first two steps. Delete any apps that you haven't used in the past 2 weeks, and then map your inboxes and your workflow as well. Mapping your workflow is something, again, that can start out really kind of messy, but I think that that's really important to do as well, because when we're talking about what are we going to use for a system, a productivity system, right? What do we actually do, and what do we need, right? We don't need, if you're one person, if you're a solopreneur and you have a pretty simple system, you don't need an app with a lot of bells and whistles that is going to take time to ramp up, right? So you might need something like that's very checklist oriented, something like an Evernote or an Everlist, or Todoist or something like that. Just something that very simply maps out what you're doing and gives you room to be creative as well. So if you have tasks that you want to do, but you want to expand upon it, you don't need something big. I guess like a Monday. ClickUp is one that I think is good for both. If you look at ClickUp, I think it's good for both team type task and productivity, and then also for for that kind of single like checkbox type of productivity as well. The other thing too, I would say, I'm getting a little off topic with the first part, but one of the things that I think makes me really productive, and let me know in the comment section if it makes you productive as well. I have a little planner, right? So I use this and I actually write out in the morning things that I have to do. And it's actually kind of meditative as well as being productive, just being able to write out off the computer, not having the computer light at, staring at you as you're, in that hand to brain aspect as well, makes it really, really a good way to start a day. I'm going to write out the things I need to do, and then I'm going to check them off. And then I can have those type of tasks in my productivity app as well, because a lot of those tasks are things that I have to do. Yeah, see? Randy's saying I am writing in my day timer right now. And the other thing too that I like to do that I can't, I could do on the app is just kind of write something to myself, like an inspirational term or something like that. Like, what's my word of the day that I'm going to use to kind of get me through the day. There's, we all have, right? We all have days that are super busy. Tuesday is my really busy day. And I know that my day is going to start at like 7:30 or so in the morning and probably not end until 7:30 at night. So if I have a planner beside me or something where I can write beside me, and I'm not on my computer, on my mobile device every time, that's something that makes me productive. So think about the things that make you productive as well. Rebecca's saying, can't live without my planner, and the satisfaction of crossing off. Yeah, I love crossing things off. I can get a little aggressive with that too. It's like, all done. Yeah, okay. So step 3 is saying, and I have this in the comment section, this little blurb here. It's in it's called productivemag.com, and I guess it's like article number 32, how to choose the right app. So hopefully this is, starting to like get us in the mindset. So step 3 is no more shiny objects. Okay, so it says stop downloading every new app that comes out. This may require a habit change, but it'll be worth it. Okay, again, this is something that's really difficult for me to do, right? Because I run a weekly program, Digital Media Sync, where I'm talking about practices, I'm talking about applications. I can't talk about an application if I haven't tried it. But my habit has to be try the application, research it, that sort of thing, and then get rid of it. But for the everyday business consumer, um, you know, if you download an app and it's not working for you after a period of time, then just delete it. Um, so it's saying remember that apps should help you get work done, not create more work for you. And this is something that's really interesting about productivity apps, right? Because it takes work in the very beginning to start uploading your strategy, your tasks, your processes, campaigns, that sort of thing. And then you have to kind of struggle through it or work through it to try it out. So it's really interesting when you're choosing a productivity app, just really kind of having the mindset that if it's not simple, if it's not something, so if you're used to like drag and drop or making a checklist or something like that, these are ways that you can really think about what kind of app you want. If you take a look at it and it just doesn't, my favorite productivity app actually looks like a spreadsheet, right? But it's an interactive spreadsheet, and I know a bunch of you are going to be like, yeah, Julia, you can say this one again, is Airtable, because everything is right in front of me. It looks like a Google Sheet, but you can drag and drop items in, like images, pieces of creative text, that sort of thing. You can make calendars, you can have a checklist. So it's just one sheet. It's very easy for me to use. I've been using it for several years now. When I'm working with other people, I'll use their apps as well. But this is my favorite one to work with, and I try to get my clients to work with me on Airtable. All right, so I went off on a tiny bit of a tangent. So no more shiny objects. Yeah, that's something that's difficult for me personally. I'll admit it, for two reasons. One is I get totally distracted sometimes. I'm very like squirrel. And also I'm looking at a lot of different products so that I can talk about them when I'm talking in Digital Media Sync, or I'm trying to help clients with their workflow, with their marketing workflow as well. So it's saying keep your system as simple as possible and get the distractions out of the way. There is no need to create more problems by trying to fit your system into some new app. So that's the thing, is really understanding your system first and what you're used to doing and how you're used to working, instead of trying to work with the app and kind of put like, a square peg in a round hole. Okay. So step 4 is find reliable tools. That makes a lot of sense, right? So make sure that the developer is well established and has some longevity. That's a difficult one, right? Because when I tried Airtable was basically almost like a beta. It was like just out of the gate. And I got in pretty much at the ground level. And what they were offering was, first, they were offering a product that really worked well for me. And I felt like that client interface was like wonderful. So it was a good product. They were very responsive, and they were responsive because I think at the time, it's always like they're responsive because they're new, right? They want to have a good product. They want to make sure that they're customer centric. There's that word again, right? But they have been customer centric throughout, and they gave me an added value, because every time I recommended the application to somebody else, I got points. So I racked up all these points, and like I could basically upgrade for like over like 2 or 3 years now. at no cost. So I can go to the, to the premium, but the freemium version just provided so much as well. So this is something to think about too. At what level can you get to with the premium, with the freemium version of that product, and what do you need, the premium for? So oftentimes it can get frustrating because it's like, oh, the freemium, the free version of this only goes so far, and then now you have to start paying, which is fine. It's good. But again, if you are an app collector and if you're a premium app collector, that can start getting costly, for your business, just the same way, as if you collect subscriptions in, your personal life as well. It's like, oh, this program is on Hulu, this program is on Disney Plus, this program is on HBO, and now all of a sudden it's like, you're spending $300 because you're paying for this, and this. So just be aware of that. So even though it says make sure that the developer is well established and has some longevity, I would say yes for the most part. But at some point, if a product looks like it's doing really well and has a really good kind of help platform or help system, a support system for you, I would say go for it. So it says watch out for freeware that cannot monetize. So it's saying, remember when the Dropbox killed the amazing Mailbox app? I don't remember that. But free tools can be discontinued without notice. This is something that actually happens a lot with Google, right? Google will put out free tools. You'll start working with them. This is great, perfect. And then Google will drop that tool, and then you're just stuck. Again, it's a risk that you take, but there's a lot of products out there. And if you have your workflow and if you have your process in place, it should be easier for you to jump into another application. Don't let your application lead your life. Let your process and your workflow lead your life. I know that that's an analogy for something like in our personal lives too. All right, so that was number 3. Understand the companies behind the apps you use, right? So I have talked about Google. So they're saying, do they have my best interest in mind? Find a company that stands for your same principles, so you can support them and they will support your productivity. Again, that makes a lot of sense as well. And that probably goes back to, is it a well-established brand? So I would say 2 things. Is it a well-established brand? And is it a brand that is responsive, right? Because even well-established brands, if they're not responsive, they're not there for you. And newer productivity apps, or newer apps in general, or software, they're hungrier. So just keep that in mind as well. Look for tools that are intuitive. Yeah, this is what I just said. I said ahead of time, look for tools that are intuitive or have amazing customer service support and help. So if a company takes the time to teach you how to use their product, you know that they're dedicated to their customers. So again, there have been products that I've used that, or I've tried out, and they have like no customer support, and it's impossible to get a hold of a real person. So the fact that they have something like a chat and a phone number that's easily, that you can find easily. Airtable had a chat, but they also contacted me as well. And they, were like, hey, I saw that you downloaded our product. Do you need help with anything? Do you want to jump on a call and I'll walk you through it? If there are tutorials, video tutorials and other types of tutorials as well. So these are things to look for when you're looking for an application. I'm just taking a look at the time because I want to have the other half where I'm talking more about what applications are available. Make sure apps fit with your workflow and sync with your other critical apps. This is so huge, right? So I know a lot of us are using things like Calendly, and we're using an email tool like, say MailChimp or that sort of thing. And then we're using a tool, perhaps, if we're doing our marketing and we're on social media and Facebook and that sort of thing, we're using something like a Canva, right? These are applications, and these are productivity applications. These ones that I'm talking about, right? Because especially if there's an automation feature to them. So I would say when you're thinking about productivity, also think about automation. So whatever email platform that you're using, how strong and robust is their automation? And at what point, again, what's the freemium version of that and what's the premium version of that and what are you paying for? So think about automation in that way. Canva is considered a productivity tool, right? Because Canva has built-ins like the sizes are already available to you. Remember when we always had to ask the question, what size is a Facebook cover image? What size is Instagram? We always had to think about what the sizes were. And when Canva came out, it really kind of took away that question. It made that concern a non-issue because the sizes were already set up for you for many of the social media apps, and then also for print as well. So for email, for social media apps and that sort of thing, it took the sizing issue away. The other thing too is so far, Canva has stayed pretty up to date with the sizing. So again, if you don't have to take the time to do something, and you have an app that's like, you know what? We're just going to take that worry away from you. That makes it productive. You don't have to go hunting for something that you need constantly. So to be as productive as possible, you need apps that talk to one another, or you need an app that assists that. And I know in a previous digital media sync, we had talked about, I brought a guest on, and we had talked about Zapier and how Zapier kind of helps connect these apps. So making sure that all your apps work together. So we can bring, say with Slack, you can bring documents from Google Drive into your Slack, and there's other integrations that are available. So I would say take a look at a couple of different things now, right? When you're looking at the app, how does it work for your workflow? What does the customer help or customer support look like? Are there tutorials that kind of teach you and walk you through? Is there some way that you're getting walked through the system somehow? And then look at the integration tab. I feel like the integration tab should be one of the top tabs always. How does this work with everything else? And then the last thing they're saying in this particular section is be willing to pay. So paying for productivity is worth every penny. And this particular analogy is, imagine you're trying to build a birdhouse but don't have a hammer to pound the nails. Okay, that was weird. Sure, you could use other objects to pound them in, but how much easier would it be if you just paid for the right tool? Okay, that was kind of weak, but I get it, I guess. And then step 5, it says actually do the actual work. So apps are just tools. They don't work unless you do. So the best apps are the ones that you actually use, which goes back to, if you're not using the app, just get rid of it. So hopefully that part was very helpful. I just want to take a minute to see if anybody has any questions or comments, or what they use as far as tools, or how they get into the mindset of what they're thinking about, or what you're thinking about as far as how you choose your tools. Because I talked a lot so far, and I'm already halfway through. So just put a question or a comment in the comment section. I'm going to take Rebecca's off because she was saying that she can't live without her planner and satisfaction of crossing off or checking things off. Yeah. So, I mean, basically everything, you know, can be that you do during your day can be viewed through the lens of productivity, right? So what are the things that you do throughout the day that kind of aid in that productivity? So I'm going to, once again, put up this. There. Like that. So it's Productive Mag. I haven't looked at any of the other articles. I don't even know how old this is, but it was pretty high up. The other thing too is a lot of the applications, when I was looking at like whether top 10 or top 25 productivity tools, these were articles that were written by some of the applications that consider themselves productivity tools. So Calendly wrote the 11 best products for productivity. There's one productivity tool that I haven't heard of before. It's called Proof Hub, and it actually names itself as one of the top productivity tools. But this is actually something, so this is interesting. I'm going to put this in there too. This is something that organizations do, or apps or businesses do, where they write a blog where they include themselves in the listing, in the list that they're making, right? So top 10 whatever, but my organization or my business is one of the top 10. So here's Proof Hub. So this is actually a tool that I haven't tried yet. And Calendly is one that I have tried, so I'm also going to copy and paste that in. Oh, Randy just asked me, what do you think about Basecamp? So again, earlier in this particular live stream, I was talking about how you think about productivity as far as most of the time when I'm thinking about productivity, I'm thinking about it as an individual, right? But then you're also thinking about how do you work within a team. So I've used Basecamp actually early and often when I've worked with larger teams. And I think Basecamp is a really good tool for a team. It's not something that I use now because I'm not part of, a larger mechanism, like a much larger mechanism. So when we're utilizing productivity tools, that is not one that is being used right now. When I first started using it many, many years ago when I was working with the team, I found it kind of like unwieldy. It was kind of difficult and wonky to use. And when I used other productivity apps, I found them much easier to use. So like if I was using something like a Trello, or if I was using ClickUp or that sort of thing. Brandy said she lost sound. Did everybody else lose sound? I don't know if I have sound. I'm going to check. If somebody wants to let me know, somebody else wants to let me know if I completely lost sound. Rebecca's saying, Rebecca, can you let me know if you lost sound as well? Okay, cool. So Rebecca's saying, I used to use Basecamp, good tool, but my clients didn't want to use another system, so I moved to Teamwork. Oh, okay. So Rebecca, what did you think of Teamwork? Can you type out? Because Teamwork is something that I haven't used before. So I work a lot, and I've used Trello with clients. Okay. We have sound. Cool. All right. I don't know what happened. Poor Randy. She lost sound. And now I get to see who's actually watching right now. That's super cool. So yeah, where was I with this? What did I use? I used Trello. I've used ClickUp. I've used Basecamp. Okay, sound is back. I was worried because I thought everybody lost sound, and I didn't. I was like, I don't know what to do. Where are we? You like, okay, so Rebecca likes teamwork and just don't use it with clients, but just for internal team. And that's interesting, right? So we have a lot of marketers on here who are working with clients and not, you know, not necessarily on the other side, like, you know, the businesses and that sort of thing. So we have to adapt, right? We have to adapt to whatever the client wants to use and what we either have to adapt or we have to convince, right? And so if you're working with a larger organization and they have something like a Basecamp or something like a Monday, trying to think of like other kind of like larger productivity tools, you just have to learn how to adapt. But if you're working with smaller organizations and either they don't have a tool or they have something where it's like they've used it, but they're a little bit more flexible, then you can kind of work with them and say, okay, well, have you tried Airtable or Teamwork or ClickUp is one that I've actually I use with my business partner with Agents of Branding, you know, and then Slack is another one. I'm going to take a sip of coffee while I'm reading this. The client management is all manual, but can get them to use Content Snare. Okay. I'm going to have to take a look at Content Snare and see what that is. Does anybody use Calendly? So again, I think of Calendly as a productivity tool because it's something that helps me set a schedule without in a more automated fashion, right? I think of Calendly as a productivity tool. I think of Canva, like I had mentioned before, as a productivity tool as well. Google Calendar to me is, Content Snare is a content collection tool. Oh, I'm going to have to take a look at that. I was trying to think of what I used before as a content collection tool. Yeah, so thinking about like not just okay, so the difference between project management tools, right? Project management tools is like part of a productivity kind of arch, right? So there's tools that are specific. Okay, Nadine, you use Calendly as well. Yeah, so we're pretty much and Canva. I love Canva so much, and I love the fact that Canva has, this is another thing about productivity tools as well, right? When productivity tools can grow and change with your needs. I love when productivity tools really kind of like, it's almost like they're reading your mind. It's like, I need this now. Hey Orca. Okay, I've been looking into Hey Orca as one of, and there's another one, I think it's called Oribi, that I'm looking into. Right now, I'm like I'm still super into Sprout Social, and I've been using Sprout Social for a very long time, right? So Sprout Social is another productivity tool in that it helps me do, and Hey Orca, you know, it helps me do things like schedule social media ahead of time, hold a media library, meaning that all my images can be in one place and I can kind of pick them out and put them into a schedule system. Anything that kind of does the analytics internally for me. Notion is another one. Oh, see, now I'm going to be going down a rabbit hole. Not today. Yeah, Sprout is awesome, but not free. Sprout Social is definitely not free. And this is a decision, um, a business decision that I have to make. If I have enough clients that I'm working with, then I'm utilizing Sprout to do everything that I need to do. So I need to schedule. I need to watch what's going on as well, and Sprout Social allows me to do that. I need to have a good system for analytics, and Sprout gives me that as well. And it also, the way that it does the reporting is it does really good at a glance reporting. So this is something in my social media work that I like to use. When I start doing less implementation and more consulting, I'm not as hands-on. So then again, I have to make a decision. Is it worth the money that I'm paying to Sprout Social to keep them in my toolbox, so to speak? All right, so I'm going to see. This is from Calendly, and I put this in the comment section. I'm going to put it in the comment section one more time, just in case anybody didn't see it or can't scroll through. Even Facebook can be a productivity tool. And I think of, depending on the type of work that you do, right? Let me put this here. All right, so this is what Calendly has identified as the best productivity tools, and I'm trying to think. Calendly had this blog written in August of 2020. So it says the 11 productivity apps. I'm afraid to put this up on the share screen because I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try. All right. Let me know how this looks for you, and if it's all right. So this is by Ty Collins and Calendly. So again, here are questions that we ask ourselves first. What's the productivity mindset that we have? What do you need to be more productive? The other thing is, do you need a personal assistant to plan projects more effectively? Do you need to automate tasks? That's the biggest thing, is being able to automate your tasks. Or do you need to improve communications with your team? So they broke down their list into categories. So this is lovely. So this is, so again, this is specific to product planning productivity, right? So project planning. So the difference between project planners are productivity tools, but they're not the only productivity tools. So they're talking about Asana. Has anybody actually used Asana? I feel like Asana is kind of big and unwieldy. I think I tried using it, and I may have cried. I don't know. What else? Todoist is another one. So Todoist is one it's called project management and personal planning. So again, it's saying that the free version is robust enough for personal use, and then $3 to $5 a month for team functionality. So if I just want like a simple kind of checklist style, I'm going to do something like a Todoist. ClickUp is another one where, again, it's very easy to use personally, but then if I want to work with a team, I can do that. It's not opening the page. Oh, that's odd. Did I miss a whole thing? All right, I'm going to keep talking, and then I'm going to try to do that again. I did not like Asana, Rebecca said. Yeah, I didn't like Asana either. I didn't have a good. But Asana is actually, that's, again, it's a big, wonky kind of more kind of teamwork type of thing. Okay, so Todoist is a leading to-do list tool with a high rating, 4.5 plus stars out of 5 from The Verge. So The Verge is a good publication as far as applications and that sort of thing, and then the Apple Store and Google Play. And that's the other thing too. Oh, okay, totally forgot to talk about this part. Is it something that's easily translatable to your and transferable to your mobile device? Because a lot of times I'll do a lot of my posting on my mobile device. I won't do it. Thank you, Nadine. All right, Nadine, I feel your sister. I've used Asana for. I did cry. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. If productivity tools make you cry, they are not for you. They are not for me. Um, oh, but you are saying trying to use it again because if you can break through the learning, it's really good for managing products and integrating with Slack. See, that's the thing, the integration thing. Yeah, I like things that are easy when it comes to learning. I do not have patience, and that's on me. I guess that's on me. Trello is another one. I like Trello too because it's kind of like there's a lot of drag and drop and moving things around. I love being able to um, move items around with just a drag and drop. And I love the list features as well. I like things with like a lot of colors and pop, which Trello has. That's just me. I like things that are visually appealing as I'm doing the work. Yeah, we're all in the same boat on Asana. Oh, poor Asana. I hope that they don't see me someday and just like. So this is something. Does everybody know what Kanban boards are? This is an example of a Kanban board, and I love any project management app that provides a Kanban view. It just, I don't know, it just works for me. All right, I'm scrolling. So what are automation productivity apps and why do I need them? I'm going to skip the paragraphs of stuff. So Calendly. Okay, we all agreed that we love Calendly. All right, so we really don't have to talk about that. So Calendly also, again, we're talking about integration. It integrates with Google Calendar, it integrates with Outlook, and it integrates with other tools. I always look at the integration features of any of the tools because, again, I use so many of them, and I just want to make it really, really easy for my workflow to have everything work nicely together, and that way I can continue to breathe in a nice, even manner. Yeah, that's where we're at with that. Zapier makes you happier. Again, this is all integration and task automation. I'm going to post later on after I'm done with this video. I didn't go and look for it beforehand, but we had a digital media sync live stream that was specifically only about Zapier and all the different things that you can do with that, right? So you can say, okay, if this happens, if this, then that, if this, then that. So if this happens, and then you want to do this so that will happen. Love that. So see how this is using, when I get a new email in Gmail, copy the attachment from the Gmail to Dropbox, and then alert me in Slack about the new Dropbox file. Love that. I don't have to go searching around for things. It's just there. I'm just really, can I just say that I am like super excited about the fact that I look like a real human being now that I have like a nice light and camera. Okay. G Suite. Okay, does anybody have G Suite? I know like people use Outlook and that sort of thing. I use G Suite. So it's saying that this function is collaboration and content creation, and it's $6 a month for the basic package. I don't even think I'm there yet. I think I'm paying like 99 cents a month or $1.99 a month for all the things that I'm storing. So it has your Google Docs, it has your Google Sheets, it has your Google Slides. A couple of times I've gotten snotty and I've said when people are like, oh, I'm going to send you a Word document. I'm like, I don't use Word documents. I only use Google Docs. And it's saying these apps are powerful online alternatives to popular office suites such as Microsoft Office. They offer not only similar document and spreadsheet and presentation creation features, but streamlined and convenient collaboration tools, online storage, and file sharing capabilities. Love G Suite. If G Suite, that's something like, again, we're going to talk about crying. If G Suite goes away, I'm going to cry. That's all there is to it, because there's nothing like it. And then Slack. Slack is, again, it's very universal, and it's very flexible. I love using Slack, and I like the fact that even though you have different Slack channels or Slack clients, so I think I have like 12 or something like that, because it's all under one username or one email address, I can just flip back and forth between all the different Slacks, and I don't feel like it's a bother for me because it's all within the system. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Catherine is saying one app, I'm going to put this up. One app to avoid Google Photos. Created duplicates of all my photos. Oh, yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that some of the automation may not be something that you want it to do. Yeah, that's the same with me. And then I feel like with Google Photos, it's like, I feel like it's in like different places, so to speak. So I can go into my Google Photos and I'll be like, why are there photos from like 2013? And then if I go into Google Photos from like my phone or something like that, everything's up to date. I don't know, whatever. And then I'm horrible with photos as well because I never want to get rid of them. I'm like, oh, I want to keep this because now all of my photos, like I have no physical photos. All right. So Slack, we all know about Slack. Zoom. I know if I know that if Zeph is watching this, she has an aversion to Zoom. But any kind of like Zoom is like just one. It's just one of the many apps that you can use. I mean, you can even use Facebook as well. Does anybody ever use Skype anymore? I remember when Skype was like the biggest thing. And I never really liked Skype because I felt like Skype never really worked for me like properly. All right, so Zoom, and it does have a freemium version, of course, and it integrates as well, and now it streams out, but I think it only streams out to Facebook. I don't think it streams out to anything else. So it's saying that Zoom integrates with a host of other tools, including Google Calendar, which, yes, I know that, Evernote, and GitLab. It can also handle up to 49 simultaneous videos on a screen and up to 1,000 participants on the same video call. This is making it a popular choice for webinars and classroom settings. Is this true? Yeah, Skype has been garbage for so long. Down with Skype, for sure. Evernote, again, Evernote I think was one of the very first apps that I've used. So this is note-taking and content organization. I haven't used Evernote in a long time. What else do people use for their note-taking? Actually, what I want to do, and I have to ask my business partner, Mason Rabinowitz, this was something that I did not put on my end of year wish list as far as like what I needed for the business, for Agents of Branding, and then for everything else that I'm doing as well, including this digital media sync, is I don't know what it's called, and anybody who knows anything, I'm asking you. It's a digital notepad, and you write with a digital pen, and there's paper, and I think you put the paper on the pad and you write on the actual paper, and then it transcribes it. So you can write, like you can even write cursive if that's what you do, and you write out all your notes, and then it takes those notes and it translates it into like a Word or a Google style document. So I'm going to ask him, it's called Notes or Google Keep. Okay. Yeah, that was easy. I'm like, what's the thing that you do and what's it called? But I want one of those. I forgot to ask Santa for that. All right. I have so many articles open right now. Oh, and we're getting almost to 9:30. This was fun. Was this fun? Was this informative? Can you let me know if this was informative? Hootsuite. Does anybody still use Hootsuite? Oh, Journey for personal stuff. Google Products makes it easy, and you can search both of them for those. Oh, okay. I'm going to put that up. Nadine, I'm going to put that up. Thank you. You are being super. I love this tag teaming with everybody. I'm going to look at that as well. Cool. See, I still am learning. I'm still learning. That's the thing. It's like as I'm doing this, I'm learning too. I think this is what I like. All right. Who uses Hootsuite? I know I use Sprout Social. Oh, thank you, Randy, for saying that. It was helpful. Yay, and Nadine. All right. It looked like I was fishing for compliments there, but just what. Lucid Chart. I feel like I used Lucid Chart. So this is saying that it's a project management tool, and it's free for basic functionality, and then $7.90 a month for individuals, and then $9 a month per user for a team. Ooh, see, that's where they get you when they price it per user, and it's like, no, really, it's only $9 a month, but per user. So if you have like 5 people on your team, it's 9 times 5, which is 45. Randy, you use Hootsuite. All right, Lance, are you saying yes that you use Hootsuite, or yes that was helpful? I'm calling you out. All right, I'm going to put this other one up too, because I want to just put Rebecca. I don't know why that article is not. So here's Proof Hub, productive. Yeah, also, we're going to close this up pretty soon, but also give me some ideas too about what kind of topics you think I should cover, or if I should continue covering productivity tools. I think I pretty much beat this one to a pulp. I was trying not to be so violent about that. Yeah, Lucid Chart. I don't remember if I used Lucid Chart before. I feel like I did. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. All right, bye, Rebecca. I know you have to pop up to another meeting, and I'm going to have to too pretty soon. All right, so in the comments below, just, yeah, give me more ideas about productivity tools that you use, and also give me more ideas about what I'm going to, I'm doing a calendar for the next 3 months about what I'm going to be talking about. But if you have suggestions, and also if you want to be a guest, like, let me know that you want to be a guest and what you want to talk about. I would love a good lesson on Slack. Okay, I can give you a lesson on Slack, Red. I love Slack. I really do like Slack a lot. See, that's the thing, right? It's like usability, user friendliness is really a huge thing when it comes to these productivity tools. They're not productive if they're not user friendly, or if they don't help. All right, thank you so much for being a part of this and giving your input as well. Keep an eye on the Known Co-working Facebook page. Well, the light changed. Yeah, so keep an eye on the Known Co-working Facebook page or the Known Co-working YouTube and Discord. Oh yeah, okay. and also the Digital Media Sync Facebook page and the Digital Media Sync Facebook group. And we have a known community Facebook group too. So I want to really continue this conversation, both about productivity and about Digital Media Sync overall. I like that we are being super helpful there. Hey, Orca, online course platforms. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Nadine, yes. Online course platforms, because I'm really thinking about that as well. And I'm getting a lot of input from a lot of different people that are using different types of platforms, both within the WordPress and something like, Teachable and Coursera, I think is another one. But yeah, I'm going to take a look at that for you too. Okay, perfect. I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for being part of Digital Media Sync, and I will see you next week. Bye.